Hi everyone. It's
I
been
know
a
you
long
guys miss
time,
us.
right?
We miss you guys as well.
What has it been? Siow San? I think our
Oh, it's
last
been
show
quite some time.
was in December, was it?
Is it
It's been
December?
quite a while.
Yeah,
We haven't seen all of you since last year,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
I
today
think
you're
it's
stuck.
December.
And today you're stuck with just me and Yi.
Yeah.
Uh,
But there's a purpose why we are starting it with just two of us. I mean, it's a new beginning and our new part. What do you call it? 2021 session
season
for
2.
season two. Yes, season two for our me series. We were quite. Let's just say that we were quite thankful last year, right? We are actually able to get a lot of experts, professionals to come into our talk, and we were really happy about it. So this year, let's see what we are expecting this year. Lah. But we have had some discussion, Cheryl and I, we had some discussion to think how are we going to brace our 2021's season two, hopefully more clearer,
Yeah.
hopefully more clearer
I
and
think when we started in 2020, right, it was a
started in
difficult time
March.
for everybody, right? Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think MCO had just hit, just rewinding back a little. And we started off in a very general kind of platform,
Yeah.
general across the board. So we've spoken about things like privacy, we've spoken about, um,
Entrepreneurs starting
education.
off with, yeah. And then we
So
have, international perspective towards MCO, how they cope with it, as well as, students' perspective, as well as, working out.
foreigners, uh,
Yeah, yeah,
those who are the exploitation and the
yeah.
manipulation. We've spoken
Mental
on a
health,
wide
yeah,
area, right?
yeah. Quite wide, I would say. We covered generally a lot of grounds, but I think we were actually focusing very much in terms of the first few parts. I think we were focusing more towards the pandemic situation. Remember, we were having the MCO time, right?
Correct,
Yeah,
correct.
and then eventually we move on gradually towards more generalized topics that we are looking into actually, right? But
Yeah.
this time round, I think we kind of have a talk about it, and we kind of firmed up about this year. We are going to have a more focused shift towards it. So we decided to come up with a theme so that we are more focused of the topics I want to do, and then we can invite expertise to come in, to tell us about things
But
as well.
I think it's not just about that, but it was also because of the journey that we've kind of gone through. I
Mm.
think the last year or so, or in my case, the last 2 years or so. So for me, last year was all about like getting to know myself, and like even for Yi and I, like we've been educators like all. I mean, most of our life with
No
industry. I
lah,
mean,
mine's half only lah, not yet most of my life lah.
we started with the industry and then came to
Yeah,
education. I
yeah,
was, if you guys know me very well, I was in and out. So
yeah.
education industry. So it's like we felt a bit of this and that. And I think when I started Lift as You Rise, it was all about trying to bring impact projects and professional development. And I think that is still our goal. But I think what we realize is that for professional development to work, right, you need to have the pillars, the
Mm,
foundation strong,
the
right?
foundation, yes.
And where does that start actually? It starts with us. And that's why we did the whole Me conference, right? I mean, we've been doing it for a couple of years now. And thought, why not dial it back and go to the very basic?
Yeah, I think it's important to actually be clear with fundamentals first before we actually move forward, right? I mean, many times, I'm not sure, Cheryl, but I feel myself that many times when I want to, change something, improve something, develop something, but most of the time we kind of, go towards it and try to embrace it, and then eventually we still falls back behind. Mainly I think the reason is because our fundamental is still not strong yet, we're still not clear yet, so that's where this cycle happens.
Yeah. And I think looking back at how the sciences of these three brains work, I think it's very, very important. Like we don't take too much trouble into looking into the mind, the body, and the soul, right?
Mm.
We look at it maybe in a very simplistic way, even though we tend to say things that tells I mean, tells everybody else that, hey, we are aware of it. But how much of time do we actually spend in thinking about, a simple thing as what we say, how we say it, the language that we use, or even how we think. And when we talk about resolutions, I mean, it's the beginning of the year, right? I mean, we are a bit late. We started in February, right? So we
Okay, Chinese New Year is still not here yet. For us Chinese, we're still not starting our year yet,
so
okay? The
easy
year of
because
the ox is still not here yet, okay?
because
So it's
Yin
not too
Chinese,
late.
we are celebrating Chinese New Year as New Year, okay? So we're
We're
not late
counting from Chinese calendar, not counting from the English calendar, okay?
because we're Asian. I agree. I agree. So,
Because I'm here, so I have the right to say it.
so looking at this whole mind, body, soul thing, right? The journey I went on, right? Looked at, I mean, and a lot of people like to consider this mumbo jumbo when you talk about mind, body, and soul. But if you look at the mind, for example, right, we do it compulsively every year, right? The beginning of the year, 2021, I'm sure a lot of you had plans, resolutions, things, and it's usually quite strong. It's still February, right? You will have these resolutions and say, I'm going to do this year. And sometime in
In
March,
the middle of the
April,
year,
May, you kind of
kind of
forget
like
and go
sleep
like,
off.
I don't think I can do it. It's not as easy as it looks and things like
Like,
that.
no, don't worry, we still have another half of the year to go and do it, And then December, September, October came, and then you're like, it's not too late, it's not too late. And then December came, it's like, oh, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And then it's like, it's okay,
I'll
we'll do
start
it.
again next year.
Yeah, we'll do it again next year.
I mean, it's good that we have resolutions, we have goals, right? But I think a lot of people have spoken about having smart goals. A lot of people have spoken about, willpower, although I don't believe in willpower, to be very honest. Through a lot of the research and speaking to different people and experts from different areas, if I've come to realize that, this is super strong. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
the brain, I'm talking about the mind, yeah.
Yes.
And our mind is super strong and we have the ability to kind of change our belief system. But if you just try to change your belief system at a surface level, it's very complicated. It's not going to work.
Not
And it's
easy.
not that you are not determined or you
Yeah.
don't, you don't have enough willpower, but it goes back to the fact that, there are certain set beliefs that you've had since you were like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it's continued like 10, 15 years. I mean, if it's us, it's a bit old longer, right? And how
Don't reveal our age, hello.
how do you expect to change like that overnight?
Yeah,
You need to
yeah.
change those belief systems, and that's why I said this year we need to start from the platform, right, from the pillar. Because what we've been doing is we've been trying to use willpower, determination, and have you ever had someone tell you, you can do it, just motivate yourself. You just don't have enough willpower. If you work harder, and we have some coaches here as well, from fitness nutrition side with us today. Hi, Crystal, Arena, Anis, from PR.
Arena, I'm
Yeah.
waiting for your ang pao, not you waiting for my ang pao.
And you hear these people motivating you, and sometimes you feel a bit like a failure because you feel like, oh, I'm listening to this motivation and it's just not working. I don't have enough willpower, and we get disappointed in ourselves. So
Yeah.
I thought, we thought that it was high time where we spoke to not just experts in the field, rather practitioners. So you have the gurus, the experts, but you have people who are actually practicing this. And
Yeah.
I think a few days ago I mentioned this in my video promo as well, that I had the privilege to listen to Biasa, Rohan, our student Rohan, as well as
Mhm.
Bawani, who Bawani is a practitioner of gratitude, for example, and she talked about the importance of journaling. And I really believe in this journaling because the last time I was pregnant, I very, very attentively and religiously did journaling every day, right? I did journaling every day. And if I go back and look at what happened and how I got my fears, and how did I, get through those fears and stuff like that, it was just the journaling and what I said. It really, there was like something there that made it work out. It was that feeling of being grateful for what you have, and it was like a ripple effect, and this is what Bawani and Rohan spoke about. And Rohan told us about how he was so successful, his sales
Yeah.
target and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it goes back to the whole, I'm sure you guys have heard of the law of attraction and, the secret, right? You've heard of it. And a lot of this is a combination of many different things, right?
Mm,
The
yeah,
journaling, the art, the therapeutic arts. And I believe in LinkedIn and I mean Malaysia and overseas as well, we've got many, many practitioners looking at different aspects of it. But it's
yeah,
all from a very like, okay, I'm doing fitness, I'm doing journaling, I'm doing
yeah,
this, I'm doing
yeah.
that. And
It's
I
not
think sometimes it's hard, right, Xiao San, to kind
all
of
holistic.
bring it together
Yeah.
and
But
understand.
I mean basically we have already kind of revealed our concept for this season, which is basically focusing on mind, body, and soul. I'm sure it's not something new that our viewers have not heard about this term, right? Mind, body, and soul. I think we've seen it many times, heard it many times. Different people will have showcases different ways of their interpretation of mind, body, and soul. But the reason why we decide to put this on is as well as it's not because it's something we've seen it covered before uh, many times, but we feel that I guess they are missing the fundamental part of it, and like what Cheryl said, the holistic part of it, the connectivity part of it may be something that we might have to think about. It can be something simple, but if we do not look in depth into it, maybe it's not like how we think it is. So I guess that's why we're covering it this season. We played with some of the terms lah, because Cheryl's asking me, how are we going to use mind, body, and soul? Is there any other ways to say that? Then I'll try to be a smart aleck lah. I was saying, oh, why don't you just change it a different name? Psyche, physics, and philosophy. Wow, sounds like the three P's. It sounds so,
Confuse
wow.
them. Xiao
It
San
sounds
is
like
like, let's
wow,
confuse them.
people like wow, what is this? That kind of thing. But actually, it just boils down to the same. But then we were like thinking about it and saying we agree to it. Like let's just put it uh, let's just put it in a more basic format, because then people kind of understand where we're heading to. But simple does not mean that it is easy. Simple does not mean that it is just surface. We want to dig deep into it. I guess this is what we're trying to touch on for
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
season, right? Yeah. And yeah, back to basics, right? Back to the fundamentals. I think that's very important. And the holistic part of it, I think, is something that right now we feel. Well, before this, when we were behind the scene as well, we were talking, Cheryl and I were talking about this mind, body, and soul, the connectivity and stuff like that. And then I kind of think like, the sequence goes this way: mind, body, and soul. Does that mean that mind comes first, then it controls the body, then eventually it controls the soul? But in my perception, I feel that it should be this way. It should be soul first, then your mind, and then it leads to your body. I don't know, Cheryl, what you think? I feel that that's my sequence: soul, mind, and body. That's how the sequence should go, and then the body will lead back to the soul. Yeah.
It's an interesting question, right, guys? What do you guys think? I mean,
How should the cycle goes?
because of it depends on your spiritual belief as well, right, or religious belief. Like some of us believe that the body is just a vessel, right?
Mm, yeah.
And they say it's so important to take care of this vessel, because when the vessel doesn't work, you
Work.
can't go you,
Yeah.
you can't do anything, right?
Yeah.
You can't do anything, the spirit leaves.
Then your soul has no vessel. There's not no
Yeah, the
point.
soul has nowhere to
Yeah.
go, right? So nothing
Yeah.
else functions, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's my understanding, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's so many interpretations of the soul, right? And what it means, and what it does for us. And just to kind of and because it's a very, why we took this theme is because it's very broad, yeah, mind, body, and soul. We really want to go in depth into it, right? So instead of just touching on the surface, which is what we did last year with broad topics, we want to go deep into the mind. Okay, we want to go deep into body. We want to go deep into soul. So just to give you guys a bit of an idea, right? If you think about the body, right? The body, when we talk about body, we're talking about movement, being active, moving around, right? The whole body. And of course, if we go deeper further, we're talking about nutrition, we're talking about food groups, we're talking about
Yeah.
things like that, right?
Yeah.
Fitness, and we have some fitness gurus here as well.
Yeah. Hassan
And
agrees
then,
with me. Soul, mind,
uh,
and body. Yeah.
don't kill me for what I say. And then, you have the mind. So the
Yeah.
purpose of the mind actually is the focus and the energy, right? And then the soul is that part of you that feels fulfilled, that part of you that feels contented, right? And if you look, I mean, not talking about this just out of your mind sort of thing, or something I feel or Xiao San feels, but we're talking about the three brains that we have. Okay, scientifically we talk about the three brains, which is the mind, the body, and the soul. And for us to work at the best ability, you need to have it all at optimal level. But the question is, do we take time to even consider? Like, I mean, let me ask you guys a question,
The
right?
idealistic part is basically to balance up love, right? The
Yeah,
three
yeah.
the three pillars, right? That's the idealistic, point of it, love, right?
Does everybody here bathe? We all
Yeah.
bathe every day. We are
Yes.
Asians, right? So we
Is
bathe
that a
every day.
question? Is that a trick question? Should I answer yes or no?
Do you guys wash your cars? I hope you do. You wash your
No,
car? Do you
no,
brush your teeth?
my car not washed, not bathed every day. My car, unfortunately, I've taught my
Not
car
every day, not every day. But
to
do
rub
you
and tug.
like,
It's supposed
do
to
you wash
endure
your
this.
car?
It's supposed to endure the weathers of Malaysia. That's my car.
You know?
Sorry, yeah, that's my car. Okay, it's supposed to be tough to withstand all forms of nature.
And if you think about it, right? Your phone. I don't have my phone because I think my 3-year-old has stolen my phone. So if you
Mm,
take your phone, okay, I'm very bad at this, I have to admit.
mm.
How many of you remove the junk from your phone, junk files?
What do you mean by jump out? Clear cache or what?
Yeah, the clear cache, not
Oh,
just that, but your phone after a while, if you
yeah,
have WhatsApp groups,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
my coach Crystal will understand what I mean. In the WhatsApp groups, you download the pictures.
yeah.
I've been following Crystal. Crystal's my coach, right, for fitness, for nutrition and fitness. So I've been following her, and sometimes you get many pictures, and you see the pictures of food, and you go like, wow, so nice. Then you download, and it stays in your picture memory,
Oh,
and
on
then
and
your
off lah. On and off, I clear it. On and
it
off, I do.
hangs.
Yeah.
So how many of us do that? I'm guilty of not
Oh,
not
I do that on and off lah. On and off, I feel like suddenly I start scrolling my gallery and I feel that, oh my goodness, I have so many unnecessary stuff inside there. I'll just delete. Yeah, I do that lah. It's
and
I think it's a pet peeves lah, me lah. I feel that it's very disturbing, to my eyes to say, what's all this nonsense I have here lah? Delete. I delete a lot of things lah, actually.
if you realize, we are kind of particular about our cleanliness, right? Our hygiene, what we allow inside even our phones, right? We are, like you said, oh,
Yeah,
I don't want this picture, it's
yeah,
clogging up. And
yeah,
there's certain things you don't want to download into
yeah,
your operating system of your phone.
yes.
But have you guys even considered what you're bringing in your
You mean
mind?
consuming into your mind?
What
Hmm.
you're feeding your soul?
Oh,
What you're
feeding my
feeding
soul.
your body?
I know what is feeding my stomach lah. That I know lah. Every day I've been feeling very guilty about it lah. Just to tell you lah. That's why I think I really need to look into my body part lah, because I've been very guilty lah. I've been telling Cheryl, I was like, I think I'm definitely putting on weight because for the past year, in 2020, until now, have not really officially gone exercising, and I literally just consume things only and just sit every day, sit and sleep, sit and sleep. I tell you, I do not know where these things are going. Like the food is coming in from my body is going where I don't know lah. But I think I really need to do something lah.
I think I think our audience would agree. You're not the only one. I think a lot of people are
I
at
know
that.
some people really are. I mean, I cannot say for others, but my sister, she's very determined in this way because every day while I was lying on my bed, I see her doing her yogas, her headstands, her whatever thing. So I'm like, good for you. Do it on my behalf as well. Good for you. But it doesn't trigger me to do it. So I'm just bad about
Christine,
it.
Christine says it's time to gain weight.
Christine, here's the thing. Chinese New Year is not only my time to gain weight. I've been gaining weight since last year until now, non-stop, regardless what kind of festive season it is.
Okay,
Okay.
let's bring it back, right? So what Xiao San said earlier, right? I like what Hassan said. Hassan said be before do. Be
Mm,
before do. I think
mm.
that's a very
So that's why
interesting.
we're venturing into the bees right now.
We got to look deeper. And I think when we don't clean our system, our
Yeah.
operating system, which is us, right?
Yeah.
From our vessel, which is the
Yeah.
body, to
Yeah.
the mind, and
Yeah.
of course the soul is going to be impacted as well. How can you feel
Yeah.
happy? How can you feel contented, right? So if you're putting garbage, whether it's food,
Yes.
okay,
Mm.
whether Chinese New Year,
Yeah.
Christmas,
Yeah.
I understand, okay, because when it was Christmas, I was very careful about what junk I put in my mouth this year, last year, only last year, you
Salute
know.
her. Salute. Salute.
But it's like what we don't really take notice of these things. We don't really think about this body that is gonna keep us till maybe 70, 80, 90. I don't know, our probably our grandparents lived longer. My grandparents lived till
Oh
they're
yes.
90 plus,
Oh yes.
and probably their grandparents lived longer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you realize, our age limit is starting to drop
Yes.
drastically.
Yes. I agree. I agree as
what
well.
what what are we doing, right? And what are we putting into our bodies, whether it's in terms of
Hey.
fitness, whether it's in terms of what we feed our mind. Like every time you scroll, right?
Yeah.
Anybody here feel fearful when you scroll the number of cases?
You don't
Or
know,
you
okay, I mean, I don't want to sound very, how do I call this? I don't want to sound very hypocritical
personalized,
about
is
this,
it?
I don't want people to start throwing knives at me, because I've become so detached from the numbers, like increasing numbers printed out on the screen every day. To the extent I'm like literally making fun of it. It's like, oh, 5,000? Great achievement. Oh my God, Malaysia has never achieved anything in our lives. Now we are achieving in numbers. This is great news for us. Yeah, that's how I feel it every day. Like every day, during, when we have discussion, my family members will be the one who's, uh, informing, announcing to us, oh, we have how many cases today? I'll be like, wow, great, nothing we have increased, but numbers we have increased. That's great achievement. I've reached to that extent, to be honest. I'm feeling very detached with the current situation right now.
It's sarcasm, right? It's
Yeah,
sarcasm. It's like,
yeah,
and we deal with it. Malaysians deal with it very differently compared to people
yeah.
in other countries, because we don't really go to the streets or demonstrate. We just like coffee shop talk, or
Yeah.
hold it inside and then like make sarcastic comments on
It's
Facebook
like, oh, we
comments.
have 5,000 people, right? And then we have like, tomorrow I'm going to go out and buy stuff. Tomorrow I'm going to go groceries. I'm like, okay, does the number says anything right now? Because when we have few hundreds at that time, our total lockdown with MCO is like, wow, everyone is panicking. Now it's like 5,000 now. It's like, okay, tomorrow I'll just have a stroll on the street. It's fine, it's fine. That's how it is. I'm shocked. I'm
I blame
shocked.
the media. I blame the media. But that brings me to my point, right? About what we feed our soul, right? What we see is how it's going to impact how we feel, right? And I
Mm.
like what GD has said here. GD says that they're focusing about what's happening towards their body, but now everyone's focusing on likes.
Like, yeah, this
So
is
true,
very,
right?
this is definitely very Instagram, Instagram related, really. Right. Yeah, I kind of agree to that. It basically is like seeking for outsiders' approval on you instead of your approval on yourself.
Yeah.
I think I strongly agree to that as well.
And I
Yeah.
think especially this year, right, in 2021, this is a major issue because we can't leave our homes most of the time. As and when the government decides it's safe and it's not. Even when it's not safe, it's safe and it's safe. Okay, I
Now,
should not
now
go
I'm
there.
so confused
But
right now about SOP. I don't even know whether we have Chinese New Year reunion or not. I don't care anymore. Seriously.
but it's gone to a level where we are confined to our homes, and even if we're not confined to your homes, like people like me, I'm scared. Even when they opened up, I was like, I told you I'm not going to go out. It's okay. I'm going to be safe. Even
Yeah.
GD and all, they were
Yeah.
meeting up, and then I was like, I will see you guys later. Thinking to, wait for like maybe 4 5 months till everything just
I'm trying to figure out, any options of getting deliveries and getting mailed, right? I'm trying to use that option right now. So
so.
anti-social.
But just to kind of swerve away a little, right? The one thing that I always tell the people who watch this show is, right, if there's nothing else you can expect from us, you can expect a lot of giggling and laughing. So I think GD says it's nice to see little Buddha
Genie,
smile.
we miss you, Genie. We miss you. Glad that you're back to join us.
But Karishma brought up a good point, right? It's because we don't laugh.
Yeah.
We take 100 kgs of stress. I agree on that.
Mhm.
And then you feel you cannot walk anymore. You either read garbage online. We do.
Yeah.
We
Basically,
we we don't filter what we read,
yeah.
right? We just go through the feed. And how many of us look at something and say, oh, I don't agree with this, or I don't like what it's making me feel like. Let's remove it from my feed. Or
Mm,
how many of us go back to the thing that disturbs us the most? You keep
mm.
on going back to it. It disturbs you, you
Actually,
go back
I
to
do
it.
that. Actually, I do that, which is bad love. I mean, like, I don't know. Is this maybe a very there's a term for this. Maybe it's like a very slight masochistic kind of a feeling. It's like when you see someone writing a hurtful sentence about you, right? You usually was like, just ignore it. But then
Yeah.
it stuck in your mind, and sometimes you after you scroll out, and then you let's scroll back again just to reread back. It's like, am I seeing this right? Is it really hurting me that much? Maybe that's a little bit of masochism inside there, lah. But
And it sits in your head, right?
correct.
That fear, that anger, and what this garbage, if it just remains as garbage, is fine. It just sits in the tongue there, right? But it doesn't. It turns toxic,
Yeah,
right? It turns toxic. And
yeah,
that's why I feel like this is something that we really need to speak to different people from, various walks of life that deal with this in different parts, right?
yeah,
How are they dealing with it? What can we do? What are some steps that
yeah.
we can take, right? And then I love one of the people that is here with us today, Hassan, right? So
Yes.
Hassan, I'm a big fan of Hassan. Okay, so myself
Yes.
and he went for his workshop, I think in
Still remember
December,
his name,
no,
guys?
two
Our
years
micro
ago.
steps.
two
I'm so
years ago
ashamed to tell him that I'm not keeping up with the micro steps. Asa, I'm so sorry. I'm so ashamed to tell you that.
that's why one of
That's
the
why we
people
did this.
we bring on our show has to be someone that helps with the what belief change first before
Yes,
you
yes,
start your micro steps,
yes,
right?
yes, yes.
But a lot of these things, guys, I'm not saying that the mind body soul dimension is something you can't learn on your own. I'm not saying necessarily you have to go for a course or anything like that. It can be learned on your own. I've learned a lot of stuff about the mind, but it takes a lot of time, and there's so many beliefs you already have in your system that you're trying to kind of get rid of, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when we bring these people who have already done it, people who are experts in this area, people who are practitioners, so
And
they're not just
we've gone
saying
through it before. Yeah,
on theory, it's going to
yeah,
definitely help us kind of open our minds. And a lot of things we're going to bring on the show this year, right, guys? It's going to be something that is going to maybe irritate you, maybe push your belief system to the core at the edge and go like, what rubbish you guys are talking about? Like, where was such a thing? Like sometimes you hear people talking about data healing, right? Huh? What is data healing? Yeah, one of your mumbo jumbos. But it's in the brain, it's our brain wave. But a lot of things that we are not exposed to, we tend to, no, this is nonsense, because we're not used to hearing it. We're not
right,
exposed to it. And
right.
it's like how we like to, conspiracy theories. We say,
Mm.
oh, conspiracy theory. But is it that because we don't understand
Yeah,
that we
or maybe we
just
just go against to our belief system, so you just choose to, reject it lah, or ignore it lah, basically. Yeah.
agree? Karishma says that the trick, read something
I think that.
negative. When you read something negative, it sends you negative articles. That is
Uh,
very true.
yeah,
Algorithms,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yes, yes. This AI at the best lah, at the best
So
at what they do. You just
it's like
click on
they
something.
are they're doing law of attraction for us as well, Karishma, which is kind of dangerous. So I agree to a certain extent. We need to filter. It's not social media that is to blame. We are to blame.
Mm,
Completely agree.
agree.
Completely agree. It's not about throwing out
Yes.
media. I
Yes.
mean,
So I guess
we
that's why I was mentioning about soul first and then mind and then body. But that's my understanding, because if your soul is strong enough, that means you are strong in your belief system. You're strong about how you're feeling and how you understand, right? It will eventually, impact your mind, the way you think, the kind of information that you want to accept into your mind, and whatever information accept to your mind will kind of result to the way you behave and the what actions you take. That's your body. So that's how I see it. I mean, many times I've seen before, there are cases like, for example, I've seen before cases where this patient gone to see the doctor, and the doctor said, "I'm so sorry, you only have 2 years left or 1 year left. You have had cancer or something." The first thing that impacts them was actually the soul and the mind, because in your mind you're saying, "I only left 2 years. Oh my God, I'm doomed." You know,
Yeah.
so that plays very much impact towards the way you think, the way you try to think positively, but it will do damage to your body lah. So eventually, maybe with that, with not strong mind and strong soul, right, you might actually not last for 2 years. You probably be 1.5 year and you're gone. So I see that as one of those, how do you call it, the cycle that's happening, you know.
You see, Didi has said something very interesting, right? He says morning discipline will change your mind and your
Oh,
soul. I don't touch my phone till 8 a.m., even if I'm up at 4:30 a.m.
mm.
Salute you. But
That was the
but
morning routine thing, right?
yes.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's not just about his routine, right? It's about the discipline of not touching your phone. Even though I'm awake, I can see my phone. It's just there. Like saying that, okay, from this time to this time, this is what I need to do. And, I'm very disciplined about that. And, when I first met GD and he told me he wakes up at that time, I was like, me, wake up at, kind of thing.
Four
But,
thirty. Wow.
but I don't believe that it's impossible to change that system. You have to dig really deep to change that system
Yes.
because it's not part of your habits. You need to
Mm.
become a habit, right? And
Mm.
JD goes on to say that if not, we should go off, look for the
Look for
55th
55th
floor.
floor. Why
I think
55th
floor
so
also enough.
particular?
So
Why not? Why
confirm.
not 88th floor? Twin Tower got how many floors?
And he says people are entangled between faith discipline versus self discipline versus absent discipline. You know,
Mm.
and I think, I mean, I haven't really, to be honest, done the waking up that early sort of thing yet. Yet I'm planning
So
to,
you're a
but
morning
I've been
person.
very particular about what I put into my body. So last year, I think some of you, I would have mentioned, right? I cut off sugar completely.
Mm-hmm.
Refined sugar. Let me
Yeah.
define that. Refined sugar, right? So I do eat mangoes and bananas, even though not anymore. But I do eat sugar in natural substances, right? And in the beginning, right? I'm embarrassed to tell you all this. I used to eat oats, and oats people say is sick people's food. I used to eat oats with nice condensed milk, which is like
Oh,
massive amounts of sugar.
condensed milk. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I loved it, and I eat it with bread on top of it. So, I mean, my coach is going to have a heart attack because it's like carbs over carbs over carbs. And it's sugar
Oats is
as
good for your
well.
cholesterol. What?
Very bad.
Huh? Oats is good for your cholesterol.
The oats, but what is
No,
in the
not
oats? What
condensed
kind of
milk.
oats are you
Not
eating?
condensed milk.
Yeah. So I started eating like that. I mean, can you imagine? All my life I've been eating like that in terms of oats, just oats. We're not even going to fast food and stuff like that. So sugar content in that alone will kill you, even though oats on the outside looks very healthy. So if you tell someone you're eating oats, like very good, what? We don't know the amount of sugar I'm putting in. If you get what I
Mm-hmm.
mean. So
Mm-hmm.
I started with removing sugar from my life. In the
She's
beginning,
nuts.
right, it was hard.
Yeah, she's
It was
nuts.
hard.
Cannot, man. I still
But
believe that balance in your food system. You cannot cut an ingredient of your food palette. Okay, you can cut down on the amount that I understand. You cut completely one ingredient. It's like you're setting up a PC and you
no.
remove one important ingredient inside that. That I do not believe. We need
But
someone to talk about this,
But
about eating
that
healthy.
is the
Seriously.
point, right? When you talk about nutrition, we're going to be bringing some people to talk about nutrition, right? Our assumption of what is healthy and what is not healthy, it's not about cutting off sugar from your entire life. It's cutting off refined sugar. That's why I made it very clear, refined sugar.
I
Cutting
don't
it.
know about you, but I think
Yeah.
Coach Crystal will want to have a talk with you after this, which I think, yes, you should have a talk with her after this. To me,
It's
I feel
because
that. To me, I feel that, right? You want to eat. unhealthy food, you want to eat healthy food, you can have all of it. You can have all of it, seriously. But you just need to have a balance, lah.
Balance, yes.
You don't want to
Moderation.
just consume unhealthily, lah. But you need to have fats sometimes. You
No,
need
no,
to have
that's definitely.
yeah, you need to
I
have
don't
fat
disagree.
sometimes.
But
You need to have carbs sometimes.
I mean, I don't want to mention how many years, because then the people here will know how old I am. But just say 15 years. I'm not
Uh-huh.
15 years old, but 15 years of your life you've eaten like that, not in moderation, like excessive
Uh-huh.
sugar. So you want to cut that off. You cannot do it in moderation for 1 2 days, once a week you do it. Eventually, no, because you're cutting off things which you've been doing for 15 years. And to create that habit, if you do it one day and then you don't do it one day, you're going to fall off the bandwagon as well. I mean, habit wise, but
That's
I don't
true.
know, that's why
But
we need to
I've
bring
seen
someone in.
before. Yeah, you need to bring someone in because I've seen before cases lah. But I'm not saying that it all applies to everyone. I'm just saying I've seen before cases happening around me. Like I have an uncle who is like a chain smoker. He's been smoking for almost 30 over of his life years. So all of a sudden, doctors say, you know what, you need to cut off smoking because it's doing things to your body as you get older. So he ignored it, and then after that, and he's still living on. But after that, eventually, when they decided to just cut off, right, the moment he cut off smoking, do you know he only have he barely lived for almost another a year plus. Do you know that? Once he cut off smoking, that's it. He'd mati. I tell you. So I'm like saying, it's not funny case, okay? It's
I
not
don't
funny. You know.
Sasa, I don't think that's scientifically based though, and because he cut off smoking but
So.
there's a thing called like I mean, I don't know about smoking lah. I'm not an expert, right? But I know like caffeine withdrawal. If you drink coffee every day of your life, you suddenly start your body is going to react in a very bad way, because you've taken something like caffeine your entire life. You will have withdrawal symptoms just like drugs. It's
Yes,
a it's
yes,
a form of
I
drug. It's a
agree.
form of addiction,
Yes,
right?
I
So
agree.
yes, you can't go cold turkey lah. That one I agree.
Yeah, see,
But
once you go cold turkey, cannot even last for a year. I'm sorry to laugh at it. I'm so sorry. It's not supposed to be a
it's true.
funny.
It's true. You
Funny
you
laugh.
you can't last if you go cold
Yeah,
turkey. That one I
yeah, yeah,
completely
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Karishma says we should not touch our phone 2 hours before we sleep.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not me, man. No, my last thing I see before I sleep is my screen. Then I'm like, okay, good night. Which is bad. Yes, I'm so sorry. I'm like a very bad person here. That's why I need mind, body, and soul. Okay, please understand. I'm like the worst disciple here. That's why we need mind, body, and soul.
We need to get we need to get people in to kind of, I mean, not just for you guys, huh?
Yeah.
We
For
also
us.
have our agenda. We
Yeah.
also want to grow. And I
Yeah.
think a part towards professional development is first personal development, and the part to personal development is getting these three things in check. And it's
Yeah.
not a journey you can do in a day, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like GD's discipline is not something. I mean, I don't know whether GD grew up like that, or it's something that he put into his life and he started it. So
Mm.
it takes time, but I
Mm.
mean, you got to start somewhere, right? So
Yeah.
Kason says life is 110% of what happens to us as it is unexpected, but 90% depends on how we
Yeah.
react.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Completely agree.
Depends on our mentality.
Completely
Yes. I
agree.
believe mental strength is very, very important. I strongly believe in that. Mental strength can actually do things to your body, especially. The more you believe that, you are not sick, then your body won't feel like they're
Yeah.
sick. But the more you keep thinking that you're sick, right, that's where eventually you fall sick very easily. I believe in that very much.
I mean, it's like something I was telling Siow San before we started the show today. Have you ever heard someone say, remember Siow San, I told you about
Yeah,
the pee?
yeah, yeah.
Have you ever heard someone say, I was so scared I peed in my pants?
Mm.
Have you ever heard? What does fear have to do with your kidneys? We thought about it. I
It
mean,
is actually a metaphorical sentence lah that people likes to use lah,
it,
to explain their feelings lah. But actually, it does apply physically. It does impact you physically.
your
I
body,
mean,
right? It's like when someone tells you a news you don't agree with, or tells you something fearful, right? So I will share a bit my when I was pregnant with Imani, right? The doctor told me because I'm short, I cannot give birth naturally. So straight
mm,
away my heart was like, "Tuk, tuk, tuk, tuk." Damn it, because I'm short, I cannot give birth. What is this?
I've never heard of that as well.
I was like, what kind of predicament is this? So shorties can't give birth. My grandmother gave birth. What? I mean, I got cousins who are way shorter than me. I'm like, what is this? But it impacted me when she said that. It impacted me. My heart started beating. I was like, having like mental distress already from one sentence she said that
Mm,
day. And for the next few days, I was down and out.
mm,
But I agree, right? It depends on how we react to that situation.
mm,
So maybe today I'll be a bit better. I think if someone tell me something like that, maybe I will, educate
yeah,
myself a little before, but sometimes it's hard for us, so we need to learn what are the things we can do in order to protect ourselves, so that when we respond,
strengthen
we
it.
yeah, we respond and we don't react.
Yeah.
Because what we usually do is we react to situations, right?
Mm.
And GD says that.
This ball is haunted. Really? I didn't know that. I
So
didn't know that.
now I know why. The fear part, he wants to scare people into jumping down if they
Okay.
don't. Timesh says she believes the body heals with play, the mind heals with laughter, and the soul heals with joy.
Sure.
Yeah,
Oh, not bad.
very
Not bad.
nice. I mean, I agree with that, right?
Yeah.
If our mind is fed with, the right thoughts, more
Positivity.
positive thoughts, more things about how things are going to go well, we attract that healing into us, and laughter as well, the sounds. And that's why I think for me, I'm very lucky. I've got a i've got a perpetual healing machine in my house. My 3-year old, if you look at her face, right, you cannot be sad. It's just impossible. So sometimes I want to feel sad. We are human beings. We have that. We love our emotional release sometimes is to be sad. Like,
Yeah, to
break
cry.
up, listen
Yeah.
to sad songs. Break up, listen to sad songs. What kind of logic is that, right? You feel sad, make yourself more sad. So sometimes laughter, smiles, it's really very therapeutic healing, right? And you all like have heard before of laughter yoga, and a
Mm,
lot
I've
of
heard of
people
it.
might dismiss it because like, what, laughter yoga, what, y'all are crazy or what?
Hey, I've heard
But
of it. Yeah.
there's scientific backing that says that when you laugh, there's
It's
certain
endorphins. It's
yes
endorphins.
that are released, right?
Yes.
And that's why you feel healed, or that's why you feel better. In the beginning, you might feel a bit fake lah, like ha 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 ha, but the more you do it, like it brings out something in you. And I agree that the soul heals with joy. That's why, I mean, if you think about it, have you guys ever gone through a breakup, losing someone? It really impacts your soul. Your soul feels like, I mean, have you guys heard people say like, um, someone told me
Break
that
my heart.
yeah, my great grandparents, they when one partner passed away, they said he died of a heartache.
Heartache. Yeah, it's
Nothing wrong with
possible.
him physically,
Yes.
healthy. The moment
Mm,
his wife died, not even 2, 3 days later, he just passed away.
mm.
So
I believe
it
in that.
impacts us, you see. It impacts our body, what happens to us and what we put into us. And that's
Yeah.
why I think this topic is so close to me, you know. And it's something that we really need to focus on. But
Yeah.
I agree, Karishma has brought up the fitness part, and yeah, all these things are not going to work if your body cannot move. The car doesn't work, how you're gonna how
The
you're
engine,
gonna
the
worry
engine.
about. Yeah. And we need to move. And GD said something earlier, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's no. Ginny is saying something towards an advice to me, which okay, morning wake up. Okay, that's the question. If possible, I will not wake up in the morning. Ginny is like, this girl, I'm going to give up on her already.
Deep breathing.
Yeah, deep breathing. 48. For 48 what? 48 minutes? 48 hours?
She will
48
die. GD, she will
hours?
just die. She can't do that.
Do 10
You
K
can,
step.
you
Oh,
can.
I tried lah. I will try lah. My pedometer lah. I will try lah. To be honest, I really have not achieved any of my steps at all for the last year lah. I will do that lah. Listen to my soul. Yeah, don't know lah about listening to
Yes.
my
Yes.
soul part. What should I do to listen to my soul? Meditate lah. Meditation, right? But I've heard before people say as well, when you meditate, right, you must meditate in the right way.
If not,
Because
you will be inviting
yeah,
other things to join you as well. That
yeah,
one I
yeah.
agree.
So I don't dare to attempt meditation myself because because I do not know whether what will happen to me if I try attempting meditation myself. So that's why, if we could bring someone in here to guide us, that would be very good. Really, seriously. Oh, times. Oh, okay, 48 times. All right, deep breathing 48 times. I can
But
do that.
guys, that's the
I wish.
whole point of this season, right? This season
Yes,
2 that we are doing this year in
yeah,
2021 is
yeah.
because these are things that we are not experts in, and I
Mm,
think a lot of people don't pay attention to. And
yeah,
it's something that we need to pay attention to. You know,
yes,
if you don't pay attention to this, how do you think your business plans are going to work? How do you think your deals are going to go through?
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you attract vibes, you attract energy. You know, it's all energy science, we are all energy fields. So if
yeah.
we can understand this concept, it's not easy, of course, right? But if we can start understanding or start opening our mind to learning, right, it will help us with our stress, it'll help us with how we look at things, help us with how we respond instead of
We
react
see
to
how we
things.
see things, correct. And then how we plan things eventually after that. I think that's right. Oh, it means by guided meditation. Yeah, thanks, Karishma. I think Christine also say that as well, guided
Yes,
meditation.
that's a guided
No search.
meditation.
So should I just Google search guided meditation?
but
Guided meditation.
But I think with everything, right? With everything, it goes
Mm,
back to what Hassan said about micro steps, right?
yeah.
If you're not used to meditation, the first time my husband taught me how to meditate or wanted me to try, he said, "Okay, go lie on the bed, get comfortable, everything." Then when he put the thing on, I didn't even last for 2 minutes. Gidi,
Wait,
don't be sad with me.
wait. What do you mean by you did last for 2 minutes? Is it like you fell
I
asleep or you just woke up and just go
I
off?
was like, "Are we done? Are we done? Like, how long has it been?" Then he was like, "2 minutes."
Like
Like,
you're even
really?
worse than your 3-year-old daughter, way. Your 3-year-old daughters, I think patience span will be better than that, way.
No, it's because you can't you can't focus.
Mm.
You're so unfocused, and I was very unfocused. I had so much of energy within me, and you might see my 3-year-old because she's coming from
I
the
can
bathroom.
hear, I can hear voices. Oh, oh.
Mommy, can I have your orange, mommy?
Can we have an orange? So I'll be right back. So
Oh
uh,
my God.
Karishma says that,
You
yeah.
should never do meditation on your own unless you have years of practicing. Yes, I know. That's why I don't dare to. I mean, like I've taken note of people advising me saying that oh what if you're feeling stressed, take meditation. Breathing meditation and whatnot lah. But I don't dare to do it myself without anyone to guide me or anyone to follow through with me because I really don't know where I will head to because I have heard before there are people who say that um when you do meditation it's all in a mental state, so your mental state needs to be focused and you need to declutter all the things that you're thinking inside and stuff like that when you do meditation. And it's something that I think might need someone to actually guide me on that lah, because I, I don't know about you, but I'm a kind of person who thinks a lot lah. So if they want to ask me to declutter my mind and be focusing on certain things, I need to know what exactly is the thing that I'm focusing on. Am I focusing on the right thing, or suddenly will my mind go boo somewhere else? Start something small, have breathe small. Yeah, GD, I'm listening to what you're saying as well because I also follow from what Hassan has said previously about taking micro steps. I'm trying to take micro steps. It's just that I have to on and off try to remind myself to do it lah. Move to next steps. Yeah, I think taking baby steps is one of the important way of managing it lah. But yeah, I think that's why we need to cover about this mind, body, and soul part for this season to ensure that we're clear and we are heading towards the right direction. I think that's good. I mean, treat it as like when we invite our speakers in. I will be terming myself as like the worst student they will ever encounter. Throwing them the worst situation that's happening there and see how they're going to help and save this poor soul over here.
I think one of the main things before meditation that we bring in will have to be uh, language, the words we use first.
Yeah.
So it's the conditioning of the words you use. So, like, even before you start, I think Karishma said that I what overthink Siow San. So
You mean you Oh, you have overestimated me, right? Yeah, I'm like the worst. I'm like the worst person, and worst disciple or student ever. Okay.
You see, the one thing that we're going to bring in for certain, if not for anybody else in the audience, is for my dear friend Siow San, will be someone to talk about language conditioning, right?
Oh
So
yes.
these last few minutes, she said she's the worst how many times? I can't. So I think the language thing as well, what language we use when we say certain words, also we have to be careful.
Yeah.
And myself as well, right? Like if someone told me to cut sugar, like 3 years ago, I'll be like, me? No way, I can't do it. That would be the first thought in my mind. But I guess like everyone has said, right? It takes time. It takes time to change your conditioning, right? Even yeah.
I cannot scold her already.
Have to wonder how you intend to move,
Ginny scolding me already. Ayo, ayo, ayo.
So it's going to be a year where I'm hoping that our minds will open, both of us as well as
Yeah.
the audiences, just to
Yeah.
give you guys that exposure for those of you who don't have. And we want to bring in people. So please, guys, if you know anyone, right, in these areas, right, the mind, the body, the soul, the
Please
kind of
suggest to
thing,
us.
yeah, please let us know. Practitioners, experts, people
Oh,
who do.
even better if you have specific, topics that you want to focus on in particular of each session. So how we're going to do is maybe like, one week we'll be covering the mind part, one week we're probably covering the body part, and one week we're probably covering the soul part. So any topic with relations to either one of it, you can actually suggest, what are the topics you want to hear or you want to learn about, and then we will try to see if we can find any, relevant, expert speakers who can actually guide us in those topics that we can actually get into it. Of course, we have some that we'll think about, but it would be
Yeah.
great if you have anything that you're interested, you can suggest to us. Or if you want to have one that's holistic, that you want to cover all three of it as well, we don't mind as well. So do comment inside, what kind of, topics and discussions that you would like to know further about. We'll be more than happy to, learn from it. One week is just part. Don't forget. What, what do you mean by the useless part? What do you mean? I don't understand.
You're
Yeah, yeah,
lucky. You're lucky. For those of you who don't know GD is
yeah.
this like a guru, right? You need to follow him. He will say the
Yeah,
most the most intelligent things that will make you feel smarter, at the same time make you feel like, oh my god, there's so much I don't know and I need to learn. But I mean, that's the thing, right? That's the thing about this show. When we started it last year, we wanted to create an impact to kind of open people's minds to kind of understand what other people are going through. And this year, it's reflecting back on the self, right? Specifically the self, which is how we started this whole Lift as You Rise. And I think some of the things, besides the language part we're looking at, or even micro steps, smart goals, but I don't want to just talk about it from the surface layer, which we've been doing with our topics. And I feel a lot of things out there talk about it from a surface point. And I think that's why this year, even though we're talking about mind, body, and soul, you're like, what can we do with that for one whole year? Trust me, there's so many things, right?
yeah. There are some
From
things that
like
really
theta healing to emotional outbursts. We have emotional outbursts. Why do we have it? What can we do about it? What are some steps
I
we can
wanted, I was thinking of maybe covering one part about talking about toxic positivity as well. I think that's very, very interesting to talk about as well. So yeah, add in useless. Since everyone has more time on useless. Yes, we will try to chip in the useless part. The useless part is here lah. I'll be the one who's throwing out the.
You see, you see, he just told you about it and you're doing
No,
it again.
I'm just trying to divert it to not a serious topic. So I try to divert them to say, this can be a very, a simple question, but this simple question can lead to a lot of people thinking the same
Yeah.
thing, isn't it?
So,
Yeah.
I mean, we even want to look into things like hacking your brain, right? So
Mm.
there are certain things we feel that we cannot do. Like I always felt when I was younger, right? I can't do maths. I just can't. So I just avoid like, do maths com, don't need to do maths, and the maths com,
This
you
is
know what I
this is
mean.
wrong. This is wrong perception again. This is definitely
Correct.
something I want to go and smack her head for it already.
Agreed, agreed.
I will never say that. I will never say that when I choose maths com. That was not because I hate maths. That's
Because
definitely not
you
the
don't-
case.
that's because you don't hate maths, but I hated maths. So I thought the safest option is to go towards a field like that.
You should see my
But
results in maths, then you tell me whether I hate maths or not, okay?
but
Just
that's
because
the
I'm
thing,
Chinese
right?
doesn't mean I'm good in maths, okay?
But that's the thing. It's our perceptions of certain things in life, right? Like I feel that, oh, I'm not good at math, so I shouldn't do this. Or I don't like counting numbers, so I should avoid this field.
Avoid it.
So we
Yeah.
end up avoid. And we don't really see the fact that we can actually get our brain to tune ourselves to a certain frequency, right? So I mean, when I had to work in the hotel line at one point under my former boss, Fariza, it wasn't what I liked, what my coach will say, not what I prefer, what I like to eat. It's about what you should eat, you know. So you start changing your mindset about it's not about maths or what. It's just a matter of you tuning yourself to it. And I had to, create Excel sheets. And when I was a manager in KL, in TKL, I had to do projection, which is something that I would never expected myself to be able to do. But you push into situations where you realize you can actually hack your brain and you can change the way you think. And obviously I'm not the only one, right? I think Kason had the same thing. I hate maths too, so I faced mass comm. But it's just the perception.
This is your under your teachings lah, definitely not my teachings.
No. This is when I was younger. Yeah, but I really agree with what GD just said, right? Is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, which is true. It's like I want to lose weight. I keep on eating the same thing. How do I expect to lose weight? Does that make sense? And you go like, oh, I'm trying. What are you trying to do?
But I think this also applies very much in terms of your work ethics as well. Like, basically, I've also seen people who's working in the same field for 20 years. I work in this company, in this position for 20 years. You can never doubt me in terms of my experience. But in this 20 years, if you're doing the same thing again every year, so where are the development? Where's the progression? And then you learn nothing new. You didn't improve yourself. Then there's no different. Your 20 years is equivalent to 2 years when somebody actually learns something new every year or every month. But I think, that plays very big.
I like what Karishma just said about positivity, right?
Yeah,
and
I agree about this.
The whole willpower thing as well. Just have willpower. And sometimes it's not for the sake of positive to be positive. Like, how do you get there? A lot of people say be positive. How do I get there is what I want to know. So
no, I don't like it when people, I find it sometimes a bit hypocritical. They say, oh, you can do it. The world is so beautiful. Just go out, and see the world. I'm like, okay. Okay.
But that's the thing, right? When we go deeper into things like gratitude, abundance, it's not about I like what Bhavani said in her interview with Vyasa, right? It's not about the fact that her life is so fantastic. She has so much of gratitude because her life is so fantastic. No, she's appreciating what she has.
Yeah.
Okay?
And that's the difference. Yeah.
She's appreciating what she has. So sometimes it's our mindset on things, right? So if I give you a simple example, right? Because I've been kind of dwelling a lot with this nutrition thing, right? A lot of people will tell you, you want to be healthy, right? Drink low-fat milk. It's very good for you. No fat, right? And there's no fat. What's inside? Sugar, lots of sugar. But nobody tells you that. You just look at low-fat milk, low-fat this, low-fat that, and you think it's healthy. So sometimes it's also our knowledge and exposure on things. And there's a lot of research coming out which is going against this, but we are still reading up things which are 20 years ago. We are not well informed, not well updated, that our impression or perception of things puts us in that, like GGD said, right? We're doing the same thing over and over again. So that's why I think, Karishma, what you mentioned and what Siow San said about toxic positivity is sometimes being positive, depending on how you are positive or how you get there, can be toxic because you are not really positive, to be honest. It's giving people that impression. It's like Instagram, right? You see people showing their my relationship is so fantastic, me and hubby is like this, he bought me this, and you go back and see their lives is not at all. So what we are showing, is it what we really are? And GD says, tell the truth or someone will tell it for you, which is very, very true.
It's true.
Right?
It's true.
So
I'd rather have someone telling you straight off.
We are towards the end of our 1 hour, right? So trying to have discipline.
This also can actually last for 1 hour, Cheryl. See? She was doubting. She was like, you sure? You sure? Just two of us to start off this season. I said, just start this season. Just introduce to them what we're doing for this season. Are you sure we can do that? I said, yes. This is the
So, guys, this year,
Mm.
I and Yi really want to push boundaries. So, we're going to talk about, I'm not going to
We're
put
going to go back
barriers.
to fundamentals, basically. Go
Yes,
back to
basics,
basics.
but
Okay.
we are going to push boundaries. So there are going to be things that you're going to hear that is going to make you uncomfortable. We might bring someone from hypnosis background. We might bring someone from like I said, theta healing. We might
We
bring
are
someone
looking
from,
into, I mean, I'm proposing to Cheryl, no promises yet, because we haven't approached it. But I'm looking at, we have one topic that talk about sex, actually. I just found someone who who's experts in talking about sex education, and I find that I really want to get that person into our topic. So please tune in if you're interested. Tune up to what are the topics we're going to cover, because I'm very interested with some of the topics. I'm
yeah.
very excited about it. Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you guys have people you want to suggest or topics you would like us to go and source out interesting people in this area, we would really like to bring in those people. We also have some things on our mind. So for
Yeah.
next week, maybe we'll reveal to you already now. We're gonna put out the poster soon. We've already done it. We were very well behaved this time. We already have a poster ready. So for next
For
week's
the next one only, okay?
for the next week's session, okay, it's going to be on the 17th, all right, which is a Wednesday night as well, same time as this. We're bringing in Coach Crystal, which is here. Coach Crystal is here. Coach Crystal, want to say hi? So she's going to come in, and she, as well as Geeta, you would have met Geeta maybe if you're on LinkedIn. Geeta Lachmandas, she's a very interesting woman. I think JD knows her personally as well, and we're going to bring both of them in to discuss about the science of the three brains, right? So they are from an expert practitioner perspective, both of them. We are just like people interested. They are people who are actually practitioners in this. They are practicing it for many years, or they have gone into it out of the motivation of their life journey. And we want to actually bring them in to discuss these three brains,
Mm,
yeah, for the
yeah.
optimal well-being. So
So I
that will
think
just be something general,
so
right?
I think the Coach Crystal is already very well aware of how we are right now. Like, she's already well prepared on how we're going to be next week. Knowing that
Yeah, yeah.
this is
So
what we are dealing.
if you are reaching out to people to tell them they're going to be on our show, tell them not to worry, because there are two crazies here. So usually our show is very light and relaxed, right?
Yeah.
Very light and relaxed. It's going to be a
Yes.
lot of laughter. We will ask. Xiao San likes to ask questions that is going to make you go, like, huh? And
Yeah. And then she's like, I'm giving up
yeah,
on this
yeah,
person already.
yeah. So, I mean, we will talk about things from sleep to fitness to
Mm,
nutrition to
mm,
art journaling. We really want to cover the very different areas of this,
mm,
the
mm,
controversial ones as well.
mm,
And all I can ask from all of you guys is just keep an open mind. Yeah,
mm,
just keep an open mind and bear with us. And I feel that if even if you don't agree with whatever has been presented or whatever's, keep an open mind and take information in, let it digest. So, I will share with you a quote that I've been using very excessively recently, okay, from Confucius. Okay,
Confucius.
Confucius, not to confuse
I
you.
don't even I don't know of Confucius myself.
He's a philosopher, okay, a
I
Chinese
know.
philosopher, okay,
I
but
know.
he says it's very dangerous for us to basically, he says, learning without thinking and thinking without learning. So
Mm,
when we learn without thinking, basically is you listen. You're not
you
listening,
blindly
sorry, you're
follow.
hearing. You're
Mm.
hearing, and when you
Blindly
read,
following.
you read the words, but you're not reading the ideas. So we don't want to
Yes.
be put in that loop where we are hearing but we're not listening. So when you come for this show, guys, listen, don't just hear, right? So listen to the ideas that are being given. And another thing we don't want to do is thinking, okay, without learning. Means we just come up with our opinions from wherever we can pull it from the sky without actually learning or having any background in it. So before we say no, or this something that we don't know about, give the issue, give the topic, give the method a try. Give the method a try. And I like what Rohan said, right? Test it out, prove it, prove that it doesn't work. Do it, but
Yeah.
with the intention to do it. Like, I'm going to do this gratitude journal, I'm going to take this micro step every day. So I mean, it can be with sleep, and it's possible, it's definitely possible. I mean, I've tried some of it. Okay, I've tried some of it. It's possible. It's not easy, but it's possible. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I will just leave you with Confucius. Okay. So we don't want to be in a dangerous place. So
Mm.
let's not learn without thinking, and let's not think without learning. All
Without
right.
learning.
So
Mm. Yeah, and
we'll
do
leave you with
share
that.
in your comments down, a suggestion of any topics you want us to cover into that you're interested in, and we can think about how to, bringing in people to talk about it. Please, we are more than happy that you can, drop in some of your suggestions so that we can, give us more opportunity to, figure it out as well. Understanding is
I agree, GD, definitely. Learning is good, but understanding gives a better
good.
result. That's what I
Yes,
mean now. When you learn,
yeah,
question. Don't just warm. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I always tell my
I mean,
students, don't
this
just
is
warm.
yeah.
Don't
No,
just warm
same
what
thing.
we say.
Same thing. In that's why in classes, the way we conduct classes is very different from how other lecturers conduct classes. Because when we conduct classes, we don't use slides. We don't just read. Because then that's just them listening to it, not understanding what the hell we're talking. I also won't know what the hell am I talking there. But I prefer if we have interaction where I throw in questions, you throw in questions, we do some thinking into it. At least they will understand better. I think that's a much more effective way of learning. To me, personally, I would feel. Listening to
Definitely, Karishma. This is something that
Ah,
is so
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can think about that. I would love to learn something while sleeping. I heard they say that if you listen to something while you sleep, right, you will actually tune in your mind to think to learn
Mind
things.
programming.
Yeah, I
I
want to
wish
try
you
that.
could name Dr. Bruce Lipton. He's just amazing, but let's see. Okay. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Please
Yes.
tune in at the same time, 8 p.m. next week, where we'll
Seven-
have Coach Crystal as well as Geeta Lachmandas with
Yes.
us to talk about the science of the three brains. Thank you so much for tuning in. We were like wondering, is there anyone going to be
Happy
here?
Chinese New Year.
Happy Chinese
Chai.
New Year. Kong Si Fa Chai. We all love you. Bye bye.
Except e-wallet, ang pao, anything also okay, I accept. Bye. See you all
Bye.
next
Have a
week.
blessed New Year. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.